Imagine a world where nations are trapped in a cycle they cannot escape, a cycle where no more matter how much money is printed, borrowed, or taxed, the debt never truly disappears. You might think your government's financial crises are accidents, mistakes, or bad luck. But what if the truth is far darker and far more deliberate than anyone lets on? What if the very systems designed to create wealth instead ensure permanent debt, controlling entire populations without a single visible chain? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden mechanisms that keep national economies in perpetual debt. By the end of this video, you'll see the financial system from a perspective that most economists, politicians, and textbooks will never teach you. Setting the stage 1:00-3:00. To understand why nations are never truly free of debt, we need to go back centuries. Money itself wasn't always a tool of control. Gold, silver, and coins were tangible, scarce, and inherently valuable. Yet even in ancient societies, those in power quickly realized that scarcity could be manipulated. Fast forward to the 17th century, the creation of central banking in Europe marked a turning point. Figures like the Bank of England established in 1694 were not just banks in the modern sense. They were power instruments. Their mission was clear: lend money to governments, charge interest, and ensure that debt could never fully be repaid. What's shocking is that these early banks didn't just lend money, they created it out of nothing. And through a system called fractional reserve banking, they could lend 10 times what they actually held, effectively generating money from thin air. It sounds like a miracle, but it was and still is a carefully designed trap. Origins 3:00-6:00. The seeds of perpetual debt were sown with the creation of national debt itself. Take England in the 18th century. Wars were constant, and the governments needed enormous funds. They borrowed from private banks rather than taxing citizens fully upfront. But every loan came with interest. Soon, paying interest on the debt consumed more than the government could generate, so they borrowed even more to cover previous loans. This is the original debt snowball, centuries before the term existed. Across the Atlantic, America followed the same pattern. The First Bank of the United States, chartered in 1791, mirrored England's model. Alexander Hamilton, the first Treasury Secretary, believed a national debt was a national blessing, but his blessing came with strings. Debt incentivized government dependency on banks, and the dependency created control. Rise 6:9-9:00. By the 20th century, these mechanisms became global. After World War I, European countries owed astronomical sums to banks and to each other. The solution? Print more money. But unbacked currency leads to inflation, which leads to public unrest, something elites carefully manipulated to justify further central control. The Federal Reserve, created in 1913, is a modern example of this. The Fed was given the power to control money supply, interest rates, and the credit, but it is technically a private institution with the ability to profit from debt creation. Every economic boom or bust can be traced back to decisions made by central banks, decisions most citizens never even see. Breaking point 9:00-1:2:00. Debt cycles have natural breaking points. Hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, the Latin American debt crisis of the 1980s, or the 2008 global financial meltdown are all signs that debt-based economies can collapse, but collapse is never total. Why? Because governments, banks, and the international institutions like the IMF stepped in with no loans, bailouts, or currency swaps. Each rescue keeps the underlying debt machine running, essentially recycling the problem without solving it. Here's the twist most people miss: every solution is designed to protect creditors, not citizens. The system isn't failing, it's functioning exactly as intended. Nations remain trapped, citizens remain taxed, and the wealth continues to flow upward. Fallout 12:00-1:15. The human cost of perpetual national debt is staggering. Inflation erodes savings, austerity measures cut public services, and the social mobility stagnates. Meanwhile, the top 1% often tied to banking, finance, and the central institutions accumulate unimaginable wealth. The system creates winners and the losers by design, and the history is full of examples. Greece after the 2008 crisis, Argentina repeatedly defaulting yet still borrowing more. Japan carrying massive debt for decades while its citizens quietly comply. Failed fixes 15:00 kurang 17:00. Over time, many solutions have been attempted. Currency reforms, debt forgiveness programs, and alternative monetary systems were introduced but most failed to break the cycle. Why? Because they left the fundamental mechanism untouched. Private control over money creation and debt enforcement. Even when governments attempt to take control, international pressure, bond markets, and credit ratings force compliance with the debt system. Modern parallels 17:00 kurang 20:00 today. Global debt surpasses $300 trillion. That's more than 4 times the world's annual GDP. Countries are borrowing not to grow, but to service previous debt. Central banks continue to manipulate interest rates, buy government bonus, and print money digitally. Look at the 2020 sampai 2023 quantitative easing programs, trillions injected into financial markets, yet average citizens see rising inflation, stagnant wages, and no more escape from debt. The pattern repeats. Create debt, profit from interest, manage crisis, repeat. It's cyclical, intentional, and invisible to the everyday person. 3 takeaways 20:00 kurang 22:00. Debt is a tool of control, not just finance. Governments borrow because the system rewards lenders, not citizens. Central banks are the hidden engines of perpetual debt. Their power to create money from nothing ensures the cycle continues. History repeats in predictable patterns. Hyperinflation, crises, and bailouts aren't accidents, they are the system functioning as intended. Warning, open-ended thought 22:00 kurang 23:00. The truth is unsettling. Most national economies are not free at all. Citizens, unaware, are funding a system designed to trap them in debt, while a few profit immensely. The real question is, will the next generation ever break this cycle? Or is perpetual debt humanity's inescapable fate? Call to action 23:00 kurang 24:00. If you found this insight valuable, hit the like button and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family. Financial literacy is power, and understanding these hidden mechanisms is the first step toward reclaiming control over your economic future. Stay curious, question everything, and never take debt at face value.